And we're live. If you were king of the world, what's the first law you would overturn or abolish completely?
Oh, women being able to drive, right? Like the Saudis have one thing right.
Well, it's not just the Saudis. Quite a few countries over there, if I recall correctly, right?
I don't know.
Maybe
Maybe
not.
like
at least one.
I bet Afghanistan's that way. I know you have to dress really restrictively. I can't imagine they let them drive.
No,
they
you
can
have to
drive
have cars. Yeah, first. But
I like the Saudi prince came out the other day and was like, we need to start letting women drive. He's like, but hey, our grandfathers allowed their wives to lead their camels, didn't they? This was literally what he came out and said. He was like, look, our forefathers allowed their wives to lead their own camels, and yet we won't let our wives drive their own cars. Makes no sense. And I was like, wow, finally, a Saudi prince for the modern age who really gets it. A progressive.
He's like the cool pope. He comes out a little bit. He's like, you do not need to wear a condom if you do not wish. But God will know. It's like all right, cool Pope, settle down. Like,
wait,
Jesus
wouldn't the cool
isn't up
Pope
there.
let you wear a condom? I think you had it backwards.
You're right. Yeah. You wear a condom, and he's not a fan of that. All their silly rules. I'm trying to think of what I would do as Lord of the World. Like, I'd have to go full maniacal and make it basically like a worship cult of myself, maybe. Obviously. Or go the other way and be like a pretend ruler of the people, where like every once in a while, like Vladimir Putin style, there's like a picture of me outside like a fucking Marriott, like, oh, just in the town with the boys, but really I'm like in my own palatial estate somewhere, like that kind of shit. I'd make laws. What would I do? Oh, yeah, I would. Gluten intolerance would be seen as a lack of faith.
That's a great one.
Patriotic will.
Yeah, it was a lack of willpower, a lack of faith. Like, I'd take a page out of the Christian Scientist there, where you had to worship me, my cult, Our Lady of the Forest, and it's an owl, a big horned owl is our, lots of structures like that.
5 ways to
and
find
it's owls.
a commie. Number 1, gluten intolerance.
Gluten intolerance. Number 2, I get rid of Whole Foods. No more Whole Foods.
Okay.
We'd start putting all the good produce everywhere. That's in my world. What else would we do? No, Kyle. It doesn't have to be sustainable. Just until I'm dead. And then there will be so many monoliths and monuments to me all around. It'll take forever to destroy them.
You'd be Taylor the Great.
Yes, Taylor. No, Taylor the Impaler. Yeah, it would just. It'd just be because I travel the world.
I'd like to legalize all the drugs, right? Because I think that might actually work. Like, I feel like if you legalize all the drugs, then there's no more war on the drugs, and all of those resources.
One step further. Before you do that, you mandate certain drug use in certain countries as a kind of case study. So you'd be like, all right, for the next 2 years, Ireland. I was going to say drinking, but that's a horrible case study.
As a matter of fact, they've just completed.
Yeah.
They're going to return the results.
It's been 400 years. It's not
Ireland,
going well.
We've only been doing this experiment for 2 years, and you submitted.
Why couldn't it have been opium?
20 years. Yeah. You take turkey. And you'd be like, your hashish, all of it, gone. You're all drinking, and you have to drink 3 drinks a day for the next 2 years. We're going to see how things pan out. You, Mongolia, you're going to be a lot of potheads for a while. I don't care if you don't like it. You're getting high every day for 3 years. Hey, you people in fucking Zimbabwe, lucky roll of the dice, you get prescription pills or whatever, and do stuff like that. And then after 2 years, you see which countries have totally collapsed and which ones are still mildly salvageable. Because at this point, I will have racked up a lot of unfavorability with my subjects. Turkey would revolt if they weren't so hungover. Yeah. If they didn't get the shakes every time they were holding their rifle, they'd revolted by now. These Mongolians have gained a lot of weight, but not much in the way of progress. I don't know.
What did Mongolia get? Marijuana?
They got weed.
Yeah,
they got weed for the munchies.
Yeah, put that fermented mare's milk away. It's all pot for you from now on.
But yeah, something like that. Something like that.
I think the Mongolians drink something like. I know that we were talking about how the Kazakhstanis drink the fermented goat's milk, but I think maybe the Mongolians drink fermented mare's milk, or maybe it's reindeer milk or something.
Oh, all shitty delicacies will be banned.
Ooh,
I will personally go to every country in my kingdom, and I'll sit down, and I'll go to fucking Kenya, and I'll go like, all right, Taylor the Impaler here. waiting for your finest meats and treasures of food. You know, I just came from the Netherlands and they really blew me away with some stuff. They passed,
yeah, they give you like escargot.
They come over and it'd be like, all right, well, that is an old can of chicken of the sea, so no thank you. Then he'd be like, I hope this pleases you. It is 4 dried spiders. Fresh from the forest. And I'd be like, up, bam! I hit my red X. It goes up in the front of there, like, and then I have to tell them there's no punishment for it. By the way, there's no punishment other than like a couple minutes of mocking of like, oh my god, you people are eating fucking spiders. What the hell? There's Pringles out there, you know. Like I would then airdrop tons of supplies into those areas to make real delicacies, and before they know it, and maybe not even stuff to make real delicacies, I could just drop in a fucking pallet of Reese's peanut butter cups, and in 20 minutes, all of Kenya is going to be like, I do not think anyone in this nation will ever eat spiders ever again. I had no idea that peanut butter and chocolate together were so much better than woodland creatures crawling on the ground that we dried and then eat as a treat. So you go all around the world, you remedy these situations.
Now, you've been overturning mankind's laws this whole time, right? I would overturn nature's laws, right? Like sugar no longer makes you fat. Bam! There's a law overturned.
So you're just a propaganda minister.
Gravity. Right? Gravity is now negotiable. These are like nature's laws that we're going to fuck with a little bit. That's how it should be done.
What would you do, Kyle? Any good idea?
I would make a weight limit. I would enact a weight limit. And if you were, you know, it'd be like when you go to the fucking carnival, right? You're not this tall, you don't get to fucking live anymore. In my world, you know, and if you're this big, you don't get to live anymore. That would be the deal. Yikes. Or we'd put you to work somehow. I think. Like I feel like. Maybe at
the
first
most disappointing chain gang like in the world, like,
right?
Like 3 days goes by, they're working on the same block because they're all total fatties who can't do shit.
Yeah, I think I'd institute a weight limit. You know, you'd have to, right? I think maybe like use that system they have at the airport where they've got that plexiglass box and they're like, if your carry-on can fit in here, then it can fit in there. Like have one of those, like in every. We have a census every 4 or 5 years or some shit. Like, yeah. We have a fucking weight census now, and all of a sudden, all the fatties have to walk right. And there's just this big plexiglass door that you have to walk through. I remember at paintball, there's at Joliet, there's this little shortcut you can take around the building. You can squeeze between a fence and the building. And whenever I was walking with a fellow fatty, I was like, "This will take the long way around. I don't want that awkward situation where I slip through here like Tom on a Tom and Jerry cartoon and you boom bang into it like that fucking dumb cat." And I gotta turn around like, yeah, I turn around like, I guess you're not making it. Like we need one of those where like they, you know, there'd be that situation where like the compliance officer is standing there watching you try to like squeeze yourself through the 2 panes of plexiglass. And
non-violent criminals get to be in the PPFL, the Penitentiary Prison Football League. And if you're not a violent offender, so you can't have murders unless I'm feeling like crazy that weekend or something. Like, so, but I could, you know, I could include them anytime. Keep in mind, like you would, but for most people, you would get all of them together and you'd let them try out and then you let them play. This can be adapted to any sport. I'm just saying football because it would be the most
regional. Make
fun
it regional. Up in the north, regional. They play hockey. Down in the south, they play football.
Yeah, you have hockey, whatever you want, and you have them play in their own prison league. So like fucking the big prison complexes in New York and Georgia and fucking wherever else, they all play, and the winner of that league every year gets to play the winner of the Super Bowl. If they ever score a touchdown, then they all get reduced sentences. If they win, they're all freed and they get Super Bowl rings. And at least half of them are guaranteed jobs on ESPN.
Like there's so many ways to have fun with that. Like maybe it's a basketball game. Every fucking point you score, those are years off your time. Oh, and then, but of course, you got those poor motherfuckers who got those 260-year sentences. like, I'm gonna be fucking Larry Bird to make it out of here. Like, God damn it, I'm gonna get 40 points a game. It's just not happening.
Oh, looks like that these back-to-back triple doubles aren't enough to stave off that little girl rape case. You know, not enough. Back to prison for you. You know, like okay, that would be good. What other mad things?
Well, they do that a while back. I talked about how in Thailand they have those prison fights where the prisoners fight Muay Thai for their freedom. And like the best guy, like there's a whole Showtime series about it. I haven't watched it yet, but I think at the end, this guy has won like 12 fights in a row. And like, they're like, all right, this is the fight. He wins, he walks. And they show that Muay Thai fight in the series, and spoiler alert, I'm pretty sure he wins the fight and walks and everything.
I would hope so. That'd be a disappointing.
But he murdered a man. Like, that's what he's in for. Like, this isn't like grand larceny. This isn't like white collar crime. He's like, yeah, I was in a gang. I stabbed a guy and killed him. But he's done like 6-7 years of his sentence or whatever. But he's really good fighter, and so they're gonna turn him loose.
See, I'm not going to be outdone by Thailand in my fantasy world, and so I will include murderers in my league. But as a stipulation to keep people in the public safe, because, of course, under my rule, everyone has a concealed carry permit and proper gun training, is anytime someone with the big F for felon or VF for violent felon on their forehead gets out, because you have to like at least Sharpie it on or something every morning. I'm not going to tattoo them. I'm not gross.
That's
like
hard.
If they ever get out of control, you can shoot them.
Okay.
Like if they anything like that.
I like that.
I think that's good. I don't I'd give my world like 3 to 4 months before it's just over. Like it's just like president of the world, Taylor the Impaler, has decreed that all tax funds will go to the St. Louis Blues for the next 3 days. He thinks of it as a small, socking away fund. It's actually going to destroy the economy. An economist with us today to explain it. Frankly, it's unbelievable that we're listening to this man.
Why did we ever think electing Taylor the Impaler was good in the first place?
And then like one sentence into there, 2 guys with VF on their forehead walk up behind him and pull him out of there. And it's like, you didn't know that my Violent Felon League was a giant construct to have an underground army of people desperate to stay free. You didn't consider that, did you? That's what
Violent Felon League football.
Yep.
Who would announce for that? Mike Tyson? Look
Why
at the League of Giant football.
Absolutely devastating hit. I don't know.